State Representative Sharlett Mena from the 29th District. So you are now chairing a committee. Tell me about that.
That's right. I'm chairing the State Government and Tribal Affairs Committee. We've gotten right to work hearing good bills and making sure that our elections are fair and accessible for all, as well as hearing things on tribal relations and gaming. It's been a very productive first couple of weeks, and we're looking forward to moving more bills soon.
And now, since you have the board right there very handy, let's talk about a couple of your priority bills. What's the Fashion Act bill?
The Fashion Act was actually the first bill heard in this biennium, so we started with a punch. The fashion industry is a big contributor to environmental harms, including up to 10% of the greenhouse gas emissions that we experience globally. So this bill is really about getting all the information we need to build sideboards around the industry and make sure that consumers have all the information they need to make smart decisions about what is sustainable, what kinds of toxics may be in the materials that they're buying, and how best to recycle and reuse clothes. So the first step really is getting all the information we need through disclosure from companies. It's understanding what processes they use, how they impact the environment, and what sort of materials and toxics may go into their clothes. Then we give that information to several state agencies to give us feedback on how best to design programs for whether it be clothing take back or textile responsibility for those that produce it, or so on and so forth. And I think one of the most important pieces of that is building a public-facing website or some sort of resource where consumers can easily find out more about their clothing and the things that they're buying.
And then the second bill I'm going to ask you about is your sodium nitrate bill. They'd had a hearing last week, and it was a little hard to watch.
That's right. This bill is really important, and it's really urgent. This is about public safety and keeping our youth safe. Sodium nitrite at very low concentrations has industrial uses like meat curing and corrosion prevention, but at levels above 10%, it can be lethal. And what we've seen is several youth purchasing sodium nitrite at concentrations of 99% online and using it to die by suicide. This has impacted at least 30 youth across the country and several here in Washington state as well. We heard from an impacted mom. We know that if the legislature doesn't act, companies will be allowed to continue selling sodium nitrite online. And while it's hard to find online right now, there's nothing preventing companies from selling it unless we act. So it's really important that we get this bill across the finish line this year. I think we would be the third or fourth state. Certainly we're following California and Colorado, where this bill passed with unanimous bipartisan support because it's a no-brainer.